Season 3, episode 29, and all I can say is, oh my God. The New York Mets are going to the National League Division Series. I'm Ian Bosniak, joined alongside by Robert Menegas and Matthew DeSantis. As always, gentlemen, last night was a classic.
It was an excellent game. I mean, they did. Pete Alonso came through when they needed him. When they needed him, he did what. Let's just say the case to pay him is much higher now. The case to pay him. He came through when we needed him. Like honestly, it was fantastic. We needed that, and I think we can go ahead and beat the Phillies. We match up versus them well. We got to go out. We got to show up in Philadelphia. That's going to be the hardest part with that atmosphere and crowd. But other than that, I'm really happy to be a Mets fan.
No, yeah, a lot of happy emotions today. I'm pretty hyped. And it's not even Saturday yet for the NLDS game one. But shout out to those people on X who said that Pete Alonso was going to get that clutch home run. They called it in dramatic fashion in the top of the ninth inning. Just typical Mets in a good way this time though. That's been the theme of 2024, resiliency. Just a group that never quits till the last out. It's very fun to watch, and dude, just to see like the win probability on top of ESPN from like 92% for the Brewers and 8% for the Mets, and then Alonso hits the home run,
Oh.
and it's like it does that flip of the win probability. I don't know, it's like Maddie said, it's a great day to be a Mets fan.
If you think about it, 3 out of the last 5 Mets games have been absolute classics.
Yeah.
Game 1 of the doubleheader against Atlanta, the first game of the series against Milwaukee when they were down 4-3 and put up 5 runs in the 5th inning, and then last night. And we're going to strictly talk about last night and then moving forward on to, the divisional series. But I was in attendance at the watch party at Citi Field. First and foremost, excellent, excellent, excellent job by the Cohens putting that together, even though they weren't there. Citi Field was absolutely electric. Electric. The whole field level was filled out. Parking lot was packed. I was surprised how many people were there. But having it be dead for 8 innings, right? And it was very similar to how Schwellenbach shut the Mets down for 7 innings in the game 1 against the doubleheader, and then the Mets just came out of nowhere. But to do it against Devin Williams, who has the best changeup in the game, one of the best closers in the game, if not the best, hasn't given up a home run, an opposite field home run on that changeup in his career. And Pete Alonso does it in what could be his final at bat as a New York Met. And listen, I'll say it, and we've been talking about it. Is he worth the money? No. Has he regressed? Yes. Has he come up in the playoffs? No. But he dropped a pop fly the inning before,
I know.
right?
I know.
So I'm sitting there at Citi Field. I'm in back of home plate. In front of me, there are executives, and I don't really know if they were in, player ops or baseball ops or, something along those lines. But I was chirping a little bit, because Alonso is in these big moments. He's striking out. He's under every single fastball that's coming in. Doesn't matter if it's 92 or 96. He's whiffing at everything, chasing pitches. Then he flies that, then he drops that pop fly, and you just say to yourself, I mean, I shot out a couple tweets. This game's over. When Bowers and Frelick went back to back, and then Alonso dropped that pop fly, I'll admit it. I tweeted, "This game's over, folks. Like, this was a fun season, right?" And then when Alonso dropped that fly ball, I said, "Let him walk," and he
Let's
instantly shoved it in my face.
let's
Good.
talk about let's
Good.
talk about Heyman, or I think it was Heyman reporting that Willie Adames wanted to meet Winker in the parking lot to
He said that
settle.
he was actually there.
He was in the parking lot ready to settle up with Winker.
Does he not realize he should have just fought him on the field if he wanted to? In the parking lot, you're going to get arrested, dumbass.
I mean, on the field, you're getting suspended. So I think Winker was smart, not doing shit.
Arrest or suspended? I don't know.
We
It's a
need
toss
him.
up.
No, but we need him. So fuck out of here with that. But go on. Go on.
Absolutely. But dude,
But
last but
that's again, but no, that's just been the theme of 2024. This group hasn't given up till the final out is made, and I don't care if Pete Alonso went 0 for 3 or 0 for 4. He was meant for that moment, and I'm glad it was him. I mean, I get it. I get all the points you're coming from. But shout out to Mendy. Once shit started to almost hit the fan, he put Edwin Diaz in right away. I honestly thought Edwin Diaz was gonna close out the ninth inning, but then he puts David Peterson in for the save. Just really managed that game, not to a T, but or to perfection. But again, he kept us in it. It was only 2-0. Mets rallied. But the three main cogs, Lindor, Nimmo, Alonso, getting it done. So
Manager of the year, baby.
yeah, nah, I mean he's making a great case.
how about
Indeed.
Jose Quintana? How about Jose
Yeah.
Quintana in the biggest game of the year
Mhm.
tosses six shutout? I was telling somebody that was sitting to the left of me that I
One
wound up
walk.
hugging because I
Yeah.
think I hugged at least 50 random people last night. It was insane. But I was telling them I wanted Quintana released at least 6 or 7 times this year.
Yep. You and Matt.
Rob, Rob, you hated Quintana too at a point. He sucked. He
I didn't
sucked.
hate him.
You wanted him gone. You thought that he shouldn't have had a
Nah,
roster
nah,
spot. He was brutal. He was
nah.
brutal for so
Just like I
long.
mean, no, he was bad, but I didn't want him off the
And then
team. I
the
don't know that.
last 2 months of the season, the man turned it up over his last 5, 6 starts in ERA just above one or below one. And then he comes
Yeah,
out last night and was painting his corners, was working with that sinker, the changeup, the curveball. He mixed and matched beautifully. 94 pitches over 6 innings. He was tremendous. And then Jose Budo struggled. I don't blame Mendy for putting Budo in at that point, and I commend him as well, as you mentioned, Rob, realizing that after the 2 home runs, lift Budo, bring in Edwin Diaz to try to keep it at a 2-0 game. Diaz, yeah, he wasn't great. He walked 2 batters, but he struck out three in an inning and 2/3, and he kept the game where it was at. And then to see David Peterson come in, and I was waiting. We were trying to figure out who was going to close. I didn't think it was going to be Diaz, and there were reports that Luis Severino was seen walking out to the bullpen earlier on in the game, and Freddie Peralta also made an appearance in the game. So you kind of thought to yourself, maybe this is all hands on deck.
Yeah.
Severino might get an opportunity to save it, and it was David Peterson who comes in, gets the first out, gives up a hit, and then of course, just like when the Mets clinched the wild card berth,
Double play.
the last ball, who does it go to?
Quinn.
Francisco Lindor, smart heads up play, takes it to the bag himself because Iglesias was a little slow getting over there.
Acuna.
Acuna was a little slow getting over there. You're right there. Steps on the bag, guns it over to first, double play, Mets advance. It was so picturesque and but honestly, if you look back at the 2024 campaign, there's no other way that the Mets would be advancing if it wasn't in this fashion. They've been the
No.
cardiac kids all year.
Yeah, and I see a lot of Brewers fans like saying like there's bullshit. Mets played more games over fucking a 7 day span than anybody else. Like, come on now. You're gonna fucking complain after Alonso rips a 3-run bomb off of your stud closer.
Yeah, not only that, then they went ahead and they put up another one. And how about, dude, I know that, we mentioned Adames Winker before, but how electric was it when Starling Marte punched the RBI single through the right side of the infield? Winker, when he comes across home plate, slides and slams his helmet and it cracks right in front of Devin Williams. And he says, let's fucking go. And I had a feeling he did that because each time he got hit, Pat Murphy was claiming that he was not getting out of the way. And you could see Winker look over a couple times. I think Murphy was barking at him, and I think he just let it all out then and there. It was phenomenal, dude. It was unreal.
He gets in the heads of the other team's guys, and that's why like I really like him. Like if they can bring him back next year on like a team, I mean, he played pretty well for us, so I'd give him a solid deal. Nothing crazy, but if you can bring him back, that'd be great. His like attitude is great. Fits what we want.
No, he's always loved the Mets, regardless if he was on our team or not. But it's funny. I don't know if you guys read that report about Mendoza speaking on Winker and wherever they went, he would get booed. He got booed in
Yeah.
Seattle. He got booed in Milwaukee, and every time he just sees Winker now, he just boos at him.
Well,
He's a type. Yeah, yeah.
his hate with Milwaukee goes back far.
No, yeah. He also hit like 180 with Milwaukee, so I'm sure that had something to do with it in terms of him getting booed. But again, Winker's the type of player that you hate him if he's not on your team, but you love him if he is. So, a great acquisition by David Stearns there at the trade deadline. I would also bring him back next year if we had that option to do so. But again, just Mets fashion in a good way, baby. Yo, it's just crazy. I honestly, when we got to the top of the ninth inning, I was obviously nervous, but just seeing Lindor working AB there, I had confidence in the blue and orange. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off of that, like just the experience being in the stadium, right? For 8 innings, it was dead. And once the Mets went down in the eighth inning, I was with our buddy Jack, right? And we're sitting there, shout out Jack, but we're sitting there and we both admitted the souls, our bodies just kind of became limp a little bit. Like our souls kind of left our body and we were sitting there. And I immediately kind of was thinking towards the offseason already. I was like, okay, this was a fun run. The bats have shown zero existence tonight. I don't think that they're going to be able to make a comeback, especially against the best closer in baseball. And again, as you mentioned, Rob, when Lindor worked that leadoff walk, I started saying to myself, there's no way they're going to do this. There's no way they're going to do this. Right. And then Williams ends up getting Vientos up in the zone on the fastball. And you say to yourself, all right, a double play could end this ball game and end the season. Nimmo rips a ball to center field. And it was funny too, because when Vientos made that first out, I looked over at Jack and I was like, this is terrible, but Alonso has a chance to make the final out of the game here. And
Yeah.
that would be a brutal way to go down. And Nimmo reaches, and then the man just rips a ball to right field. And I'm not kidding. This hat that I'm wearing right now, I have a couple pins on it. Okay. If you're watching, great. If not, you won't know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't care. This pin here is from 86. And Rob, last year, if you recall, when we went to Boston, I got a Mets Red Sox pin. It was right here, it was a Fenway pin. This hat wound up on the field. Okay. When Alonso hit the home run, I threw my hat up in the air. It was very similar to Rob, if you recall, when Nick Plummer hit that home run when I threw the water bottle
No, Pat Mazuka. But
towards
yeah,
George Kirby's friends.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Pat Mazuka.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Pat Mazika, that's right. Yeah, but thankfully someone retrieved the hat, and it was based off the fact that everyone was throwing things. There was somebody with toilet paper there. They threw it up in the air. It kind of reminded me of Oakland, right? With the streamers coming down. It was such an electric atmosphere. And the cool thing was the row in front of us was kind of filled. The row in back of us, it was kind of filled, but our row, there were only two people towards the right. Dude, there were doggy piles in the stand. There were literal doggy
Yeah,
piles in the stands.
yeah.
Like what you saw on MLB Network, the live feed of, hey, this is the City Field watch party. That did not do anything justice. I was in three different rows at once. I was laid across seats. Like it was
No, yeah,
pandemonium. It was
yeah. So,
pandemonium.
so, so that's funny hearing it from your point of view, being someone that was actually there at the watch party. I woke up this morning and I texted you early. I texted the group early saying we got to record this, that, and the third. But just scrolling through X and like seeing different views of like Alonso's homer or like the celebrations, the locker room, like the party, the watch party scenes, like different views of everything of just that one same moment was what made me obviously happy to be a Mets fan and happy for the Mets and just like soaking it in, like because again, we've been in that in the other side of things a lot with this franchise, especially when we make the playoffs, like just a lot of heartbreak. Now to finally be on the other side of it, it's just good. It's very like again, it's a nice feeling, and we're not done. And that's the best part about this team is that they're resilient till out number 27, so it's just good things to see, man. It's just a bunch of gamers that are willing to play for each other and play for the city.
Yeah, and obviously, no one expected the Mets to be in this position. It was supposed to be a transition type year, but when it was looking like the Mets were on the fringes of losing, I kind of said to myself, all right, think about the Cubs in 2015. They weren't necessarily supposed to be there a year ahead of schedule. And then the next year, they really exploded. I think that we can all agree David Stearns, Carlos Mendoza, Steve Cohen, they're building a sustainable model with the Mets right now. So winning 89 games, if we would have fell in the wild card series, yeah, it would have sucked, but we would have had a lot of momentum going into next year. And that was my mindset. And then the Mets end up winning. And now I'm like, all right, the magic might not be done. I don't know what is going on. And I don't know if you guys saw, Rob, it's funny that you say like when you woke up, you're trying to soak in the moment, but you guys saw the video of when they're on the team charter, the players were playing Howie Rose's call,
Yeah,
Pete Alonso's home run. So that in and of itself, was amazing. And then him walking back and being with the players. But this morning, I'm not sure if you saw Kevin, KFC Barstool.
yeah.
He posted a video, and it's so funny because once Alonso hit the home run last night, and the Brewers removed Devin Williams, I was laughing. I was so happy. I was laughing. I was nearly crying because it was just such a crazy like stream of emotions. And this morning was so funny. There's a video that Kevin posted at like 6:30, and I guess he was with his children because he's got young kids. And he's like, I just had to leave the room. I didn't want to see, didn't want my kids to see me crying, but I just saw the video of Howie going and celebrating with the boys, and I'm emotional. And Kevin's like, I feel like a sicko. I feel like an absolute fucking nut job for being so emotional. But it really is true. Like, we are sick fans. Absolutely. And I saw a tweet the other day that they should use Met fans for like mental clinical trials, and they should. 1 second we're like ready to throw in the towel and call it quits on the team, and out of nowhere but then we're on cloud nine and throwing hats onto the field and shit. It really was like a 0 to 100 moment last night, and it'll go down in Mets history forever.
Yeah, seriously.
And that
Great.
and that Howie Rose call, granted, I'm not a Rangers fan, I know you are, Matt, and obviously that was to win the Stanley Cup with Mato, right, in 94. But Howie Rose's call last night had similar tendencies to it, which he did it. He did it. He did it. Pete Alonso with the most memorable home run of his career. And
It was great, but I want the Mets to just look forward now. What we
enjoy
did.
the moment. Enjoy the moment, Maddie.
No, 100%. Enjoy your day off, relax, but then tomorrow it all starts up again. So, reminder, we have a new battle starting. So that's how I like to think about it.
I think the Mets win in five. I'm
Yeah,
not
bro,
even.
I'm pretty
I'm not even
confident.
lying, yo.
I
I
think
think the
they
Mets win in
if
five.
I'm gonna give a little any sort of prediction, I
You will,
think they
Will, you are.
roughen up.
You are.
I think they roughen up Wheeler.
Game one
I think they jump on
or game
Wheeler
four.
early. Game one.
Oh,
He's starting game one, I'm assuming.
He's
yeah, he
he's
is. He is.
he's
But I'm
starting
saying
tomorrow.
like if the Mets win, like, he gonna line up for another start in the series, which is probably game four.
Yeah.
And apparently Tyler McGill may get the ball game one tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm with it. Even I mean, I get it from Mendy's standpoint because he used Peterson last night, even regardless of using him less than 10 pitches. But as a guy who is a starter who has a routine, I think it's the right move.
He definitely has. I would have thought maybe Severino would have gotten the start, only because he would be on what? He started on Tuesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, that's 4 days rest. So he'll probably get the bump Sunday in Philly, then Luis Severino. But yeah, if they go Tyler McGill, Sevy, and then Sean Manaea game 3 on Tuesday night at Citi Field, then you can go for Thursday or for Wednesday, you can either go back to Sevy or you can go to David Peterson
Yeah.
or Jose Quintana. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And Quintana
Uh,
showed it last night that
yeah.
he can play.
Yeah. So I say the Mets are winning in five. Maddie, what do you got?
Bills in 5.
Whoa,
Oh,
whoa.
okay.
Is this a Philly podcast or a Met
Oh shit.
podcast?
Couple
No,
Phillies.
I'm just saying that because I want to be wrong.
Okay.
Okay, come on.
All right.
I've been
It's the
putting
Philly
that in
Cheesesteak
earlier. I just want
Podcast.
to.
Brought to
I,
you by.
I don't want them to win. I want the Mets to win. Nah, Mets in 5.
Met. All right. So what are we doing, Matt? Phillies in 5 or Mets in 5?
Bro, fuck the Phillies, man.
Okay.
Fuck the Mets in 5.
All right. Mets in 5. So you both got Mets
Never
in
the
5.
Phillies. Come on.
All right. Ready? I got Mets in 4. I got Mets in 4. They clinch at home on Wednesday.
Sweep.
No, they don't sweep. They don't sweep. They don't sweep. I think that the Phillies get one. They're gonna split in Philadelphia, whether they win game 1 or they win game 2.
They got to start quick. They got to jump on Wheeler early, like I said.
I don't know. I think it's just because if the Mets were playing the Braves, let's say, I might have a different feeling about it. Only because the Mets and Braves typically play harder matchups, if that makes sense. Obviously, the Phillies have had the Mets number in previous seasons, but this year the Mets have really played well against Philadelphia, and they roughed up Aaron Nola. They've roughed up Zach Wheeler before. Ranger Suarez, Christopher Sanchez, they both don't look the same as they did earlier on in the year. And that's why I truly do think that if the Mets can hit the ball, again, that's a big if, right? But if they hit the ball, I think they'll be able to win because I think that the pitching will hold their own against that Philly offense as lethal as it is. So again, I say Mets in 4, but it's going to be a massive test. That Brewer team, they were a scrappy bunch with some talented players. The Phillies, talent up and down the lineup, different types of talent. You got power, you got speed, you got contact. The pitching's obviously great. The bullpen's a little leaky. So if the Mets can take advantage of that, the bullpen was much better earlier on in the year. It's kind of struggled towards the end of the year. The Mets just have to go in there and play their game. And I agree with what you said, Matt, earlier. Soak in today, absorb it, but then let's push on it forward to tomorrow and focus on the game at hand. Take game 1 and go from there. And I think that's the most important thing for the Mets moving forward. But again, I can't say it enough. Every time you want to count this team out, they punch right back. And I could not be more proud of this group. And I could not be more proud. I think Matt or one of you guys said it earlier, could not be more proud to be a Mets fan right now.
Yep. Really, I really special. What they
This
did last night over the past week has been special, and I mean, this will be a run that I'll tell my kids about. My dad
absolutely.
talked to me about, told me growing up about the '86 run, and like like this year has been special. So, the Mets are in good hands with Stearns and Mendoza. I know that for a fact, and we have to go out and face the Phillies like we did. What was that 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go out there and play that same style of baseball. I think we'll be okay.
Robbie, for the Mets Phillies series, right? We know the offense has been struggling, so we'll stick to the offense. Who's your X factor going into the series?
I mean, I pretty much said this guy the last couple X factors we've discussed, but I'm gonna go again and say it again. Pete Alonso. Um, again, he came up clutch finally last night to help us advance. But again, I think he's the X factor in this Mets lineup. Whether he's batting fourth or fifth, he's a guy who's supposed to be driving in runs and hitting the ball out of the ballpark. So my X factor is Pete Alonso.
Matthew?
I'd say Brandon Nimmo. He has a big fucking series down in Philadelphia. I I feel like I can feel it coming. He's due, and I feel like if he can just get on base what he does best, like that would be huge for us.
Agree with both of you guys. Those two are going to be major cogs for the Mets, not only in the NLDS, but moving forward as far as the season goes. For me, I'm going to say another obvious one, Francisco Lindor. He's done everything that you've wanted him to do and more, right? Since coming back from the back injury, whether it be at the dish, in the field, on the base paths. Up until last night, he hadn't recorded a hit in the wild card series. He had just walked, right? But he set the tone every single time last night. Lead off double in the first, ripped the single later on in the game. Obviously, set the tone in the ninth inning with a excellent AB that resulted in a leadoff walk. I think that Lindor, especially with all the antics that you saw post game last night, him leaving the ESPN interview saying that he had to go for a team photo, and then he runs over and hypes all the boys up, right? He's the center of the team. He should be the captain of the team. And I think Lindor is going to put the team on his back, and the Mets are going to ride into the National League Championship Series. That's my prediction. And
Love it.
and I'll leave it at that. Last episode, and again, this is a short, sweet, quick episode because Rob, you mentioned it earlier. You said that you wanted to hop on and record because we're all excited right now. This is some fun baseball, right? But last episode, Rob, you and I, we did some predictions, not only for the Mets series but we did it for all the wild card rounds. Okay. We ended up being wrong on a few of them. Okay. I was going to go Royals over the Orioles. I ended up going with the Orioles. Royals ended up winning. The Tigers beat the Astros, ending 7 consecutive ALCS runs. And then the Padres beat the Braves, which we both expected them to do. So now I'm going to ask you both right now. Okay. And you don't have to give an explanation. Yankees, Royals. Who do you guys got?
Royals.
Yankees.
Okay. I got the Yankees in 5. Tigers and the Guardians.
I'm going Detroit. I'm staying with the hot end.
Going with Tigers.
I'm going with the Tigers too. I think their run is going to end in the ALCS, but I see a Tigers Yankees ALCS. And then listen, we both already said, Rob, you said Mets in 5. Matt, you flip-flopped twice. I think you ended on Mets in 5 as well. But then Padres, Dodgers. I think this is going to be a really interesting one. I think the Padres are going to end up taking down the Dodgers. Who do you guys got?
Yeah, no, so do I. I got the Padres.
This one is hard for me. First, I do. I think the Padres have the tools to beat them. I think the Dodgers are going to sneak past them though, somehow, some way. So I'm going Dodgers.
All right. Well, listen, again, as I think we mentioned last episode, expect episode 30 to come out over the next couple of days, whether it be a big victory or some momentum shifting in the Mets way in the upcoming series, or after the series, we'll be coming to you live. And hopefully, hopefully the Mets can pull this one out against the Phillies, a team that they know really well, and they can go try and fight for the pennant. Never would I have expected the 2024 Mets to be in this position, but they don't call them the Amazons or the Miracle Mets for nothing, and they're showing it right now. Boys, any final notes before we wrap up episode 29 of season 3 of the Cup Mets podcast?
No, just really happy, like I said before, to be a Mets fan. And what they're doing this year is simply incredible. We have 2 great owners in Steve and Alex Cohen. Those people are amazing people. And I'm fortunate that they purchased the Mets. Like they're doing things for people like not even associated with baseball. And I just think that they turned a shit Wilpon culture to a good one, a good working environment, hopefully for the people that work with the Mets. But just like a complete, I think we're in good hands, especially with Stearns. I think that he really knows what the fuck he's doing, and he's a born Mets fan. He's gonna do anything in his power to get us a World Series trophy. So overall, being a Mets fan lately has been nice, and we got to keep it going.
No, yeah, 100%. I mean, I think from my final notes for today's episode is that this is only the beginning, Mets fans. Sustainable success, as we've been saying it throughout all Cup of Mets season 3 out of the whole 2024 campaign. This is the start of something special with Stearns and Mendoza and Steve Cohen. All these magic moments are, again, are going to be talked about for years to come. Shout out the Mets, though, for first playoff series win since 2015. Shout out Starling Marte. He's been hot. Shout out Pete Alonso finally having that clutch moment. Hopefully it won't be his last. And last but not least, just enjoy the moment, like Mendoza said to the guys when we clinched. Enjoy this, embrace it, and let's keep it
smile.
going. And smile, and let's keep it going.
Yep.
Let's go Mets.
LFGM, baby.
100%. And what Matt, what you said before, the culture change, everyone reporting last night how emotional everyone was, how it's such a family environment now.
Yeah.
That sets the groundwork for all the success on the field and throughout the organization. And I think you both summed it up best. So many good things to look forward to, so many good things to look back on. And this is only the start. And hopefully the Mets can perform against the Philadelphia Phillies. Again, give us a follow on, well, actually, I never even said it. So give us a follow on Instagram, YouTube, and X. We are at Cup of Mets. Subscribe to the podcast, whether it be on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. There might be an issue currently with cupofmets.com. We're fixing that. Maybe there might be a new domain soon, but if not, check it out, cupofmets.com for all your latest merch. Download the SeatGeek app, punch in code Cup of Mets at first purchase. And last but not least, head over to smackinsunflowerseeds.com. Pick up your variety pack, punch in code Ian05405 to get 10% off. And for Robert Menegas,
You want to hear my rankings of all of them that I went through? Real quick?
Go ahead. Shoot your shit.
So for anybody listening, we are affiliated with Smackin' Seeds. I went through the whole pack. I think most of them are very, very, very good, very tasty. But I think my favorite one's the cheddar jalapeno. But right under that is the cinnamon churro, which is insane. Insane. It was like almost like a dessert at night. It was very sweet. And then I have that followed by garlic parm.
Okay.
And then barbecue. Dill pickle was very tasty. Then after that I went with peppered, ranch, and then original was eh.
Do you have this written down, or
that was all off the top of my head?
Wow, that was pretty good. And it was funny too because when you were about to say the best flavor, I think Rob, you and I were both on the same page. I was expecting him to say cinnamon churro because he literally said it the other day that it was the best one. And then he shoots out cheddar jalapeno. That's dope.
Yeah, no, I had to think it over. Like cinnamon churro was amazing. Don't get me wrong. But like the cheddar, maybe it was just the bag of cheddar jalapeno. They were like so coated with the flavoring.
Well, they coat them all very well. That's their brand. You know what I'm saying?
Now they have a buffalo ranch flavor too. So
we got to get on that.
Yeah.
So TBD on that grade.
Yep.
All right. Well, look at that. So yeah, Smackin' Sunflower Seeds, use code Ian05405 to get 10% off. And for the second time, let's do it. For Robert Venegas and Matthew DeSantis, I'm Ian Bosniak. Thank you very much for joining us. And let's go Mets. Good night, everybody.